Hey guys, it's me, the Unweeb here, back with another episode for What If Naruto Was a Demigod, Part 9. This will be the first episode of the mini-series I'll be doing between Naruto and Naruto Shippuden. So I hope you guys enjoy it. This will probably be 3 parts. 1 part for each of the 3-year gap between where Naruto is gone and where Naruto returns. So in today's video, we'll be covering the entire year of what takes place between after Naruto's battle of Sasuke and Orochimaru in the Sound 4, and what happens into the next episode. So I hope you guys enjoy these next 3 parts, and get ready for Shippuden as I build hype for some of the new abilities, as well as I take some time to explain all of Naruto's abilities, just as a quick refresher. So first, for a quick review, so that way people who are watching this video who haven't watched the other parts. Naruto is the son of a god. The god's name was Zeus, and Zeus came down to Earth and became the 4th Hokage. After the 4th Hokage, aka Zeus, had a son, that son was born as a demigod, and that's who Naruto is. Naruto went on many adventures with his team, as well as his friend Sasuke, discovering secrets about the land and slowly learning more about immortal chakra, until the point where he finally discovers who his true patronage is when he finally defeats Hades in the land of the undead, and then he finally returns to the land of the living and seems to understand what's going on now. His battle of Sasuke ended in a mighty explosion which blasted him off into a different land, where he finally returned to the Leaf Village and is now leaving with Jiraiya to go on his quest. As Naruto is leaving the village, he looks back and waves to Tsunade and Kakashi and tells them to hold down the fort here at the village while he's gone. He laughs, and he then pulls his scythe out and uses it as a walking stick as he opens it up at its full point. As him and Jiraiya walk along, Jiraiya then asks Naruto, "So, what do you want to do?" Naruto says that he's going to train to become stronger, and that if he could only regain that power that he had used against Hades, if he could use that, he could definitely bring Sasuke back. He thinks he could probably take down the Akatsuki. At that point, Jiraiya agrees, and then says that this power of his is quite special, and I think we've gathered more intel about who Hades was. Allegedly, now from what I've learned and observed, you have 3 different types of chakra in your body. You have the normal chakra that all humans possess. You have the chakra of being a Jinchuriki, the Nine Tails, and then something else. We need to figure out what this is so we can properly get you to use this chakra and be able to have you utilize it at will instead of whenever you go on a rampage. If we can do that, then I think we might be able to fulfill all of your goals. At that point, Naruto laughs and then asks Jiraiya where they'll be heading. Jiraiya then says that he's actually hoping to head towards the mountains north of the Land of Fire. At that point, they then start their journey. As Naruto and Jiraiya are walking through, they walk through many villages, and Naruto says hello to everyone there as they get food and eat it on the way. Jiraiya and Naruto have been walking for over 3 days now, and Jiraiya decides that it's time to take a break. As Naruto and Jiraiya lay down in the grass near a temple that they've been to before, I think, on another one of their journeys, Jiraiya then looks over at Naruto and thinks about how far he's come. Naruto looks over at Jiraiya and then asks what he's looking at. Jiraiya smiles and says nothing. Naruto looks up towards the sky and thinks about his abilities. So he gets up on his hands and knees and talks to Jiraiya and says, "So my abilities right now." Jiraiya nods. "Currently I have the possession of Jutsu of the Lightning Stream, the Rasengan, the Lightning Sphere, which is my most long-range and most spherical as well as largest attack. I then have the Ion Sphere, and then I also have my Eagle Eye." Jiraiya nods and says that if we want to make you stronger, we might as well begin to work on refining those jutsus that you already possess. As well as don't forget your summoning jutsu, plus your transformation that you had gone through when you underwent the Kyuubi chakra, as well as your other special chakra, which may be a Kekkei Genkai from Minato that I'd never learned about. At that point, Naruto nods, and he then gets up holding his scythe. He then says that they've rested long enough and he's all ready to go. Jiraiya nods and pulls himself upward as puts his sandals back on. They walk down the road for another few weeks. It's been 3 weeks now since they left the Leaf Village, and Naruto has seen quite a small piece of the world at this point. He decides that this was some very much needed training for him, as well as for him to understand what's been going on in the world outside the Leaf Village and outside of just battling. At that point, we then zoom in on Naruto and Jiraiya as they come across a temple, a crumbling dirt hut of a temple. As Naruto and Jiraiya see the sun far off into the hillside, Naruto then senses something and picks up running. He tells Jiraiya to follow him, and then he dives into the temple. As he walks up the front steps, he then hears a clinking sound, and suddenly one of the statues that were there begins to move. Its golden interior and gears begin to finally stir after sensing some powerful chakra that it hadn't felt in a long time. At this point, it swings its stone axe at Naruto. Naruto easily blocks this and pulls his scythe up, slashing the entire automation in half, making it whiz out and fall to the ground. Jiraiya finally comes over at this point and then looks at Naruto and looks at the temple. He doesn't recall this ever existing before and has probably never come this way ever in the Land of Fire. He then asks Naruto if he wants to go inside and explore. Naruto nods and they start walking up the steps. At that point, the other machine, Automata, then jumps down from its pedestal up above and begins to swing its axe at Naruto and Jiraiya. Naruto then uses his axe and his own scythe and swipes at the statue, causing it to burst into bits, like very much similar to the first one. Jiraiya claps and says that he might as well be the master already. He kids. Then he makes his pose, telling him that he's still the sage of Mount Miyaboku, Jiraiya. At that point, Naruto rolls his eyes and they walk into the temple. As they walk inside the temple, they're walking over the floor and looking at carvings from a long ago civilization. As they continue to walk through, they then fall into a cavern. At that point, the floor crumbles open, and Naruto and Jiraiya fall in, barely being able to stop themselves with some of Naruto's air jutsu that he used. Naruto pushes forward and uses an air palm. At that point, wind flows from above and through the crack and lifts him and Jiraiya in a cushion. Naruto breathes out a sigh of relief and looks over to Jiraiya, who gives him a thumbs up. At this point, they look around to see where they are. And then Naruto senses something dark and something very similar to the chakra he felt from Hades. It's quite different, though. As they walk around, they then see some sort of ancient writing. As Naruto goes to read it, he realizes he can actually read this. He tells Jiraiya that this sign says that this is the labyrinth. Welcome to the labyrinth, it says, and may you forever, we souls, be able to escape. Naruto doesn't know what's going on at this point, and at that point, he then decides to head on forward. There's nothing they can do besides get out of this maze now. As Jiraiya and Naruto begin to embark throughout the labyrinth, they begin walking down a corridor, when suddenly a flame spirit comes flying around the corner, sensing the chakra that Naruto is sensing and pushing throughout the entire maze. At this point, Jiraiya jumps in and says he's got this one, forms a Rasengan and slams into the spirit, causing it to get pushed back and begin its flames to dwindle down a bit. Naruto then uses another air palm jutsu, completely extinguishing the fire spirit and making the tunnel go dark again. As Naruto and Jiraiya continue to walk through, the only thing that can be heard is their echoes of their footsteps. At this point, then, the tunnels begin to shift, and at that point, Naruto and Jiraiya have no idea what's happening. Then, suddenly, they can hear it. The entire labyrinth groans as the tunnels underneath the entire Land of Fire begin to grow again as well as change where they are. It begins to switch and push its labyrinth corridors throughout the land, and it switches where they are. Naruto and Jiraiya don't know what's going on as they begin to fall on the ground from the earthquake occurring, and at that point in the Leaf Village, there's a loud earthquake that occurs underneath it. Naruto and Jiraiya then stand back up and wonder what that was. Naruto says they could just bust out of here and activates his ion sphere. Jiraiya tells them to stop, and that if they do that, they might have a cave-in and it might crush them. Naruto agrees and says they should just keep going then. As Naruto and Jiraiya finally make their way completely through the labyrinth, unknown to them, time is beginning to change in the world above, as they don't know that the labyrinth actually has a dramatic increase in distance as well as time taken for when they walk and how much long they could be down there. At this point, as Jiraiya and Naruto explore through the system, Naruto smells fresh air. Naruto screams for Jiraiya and tells him that he can smell some fresh air. There's a breeze coming from this way. Jiraiya and Naruto run out of the dark tunnel into a sunlit grove. As they run out, they then look up to see the sun, and all they see is the roof of the labyrinth caving over them and creating a sort of peaceful glade. In the glade, there seem to be some sort of deer that have golden antlers as they walk around in their glory and reverence. Naruto and Jiraiya look around in awe as they see so many creatures living in this underground space that Jiraiya himself has never even seen in the world above. At this point, Naruto is kind of disappointed that they haven't escaped the labyrinth yet. At that point, he then tells Jiraiya he thinks that they might be able to get out of here soon, though. Naruto and Jiraiya then agree, and they continue to head down the path that they were walking. They wave goodbye to the animals in the glade as they take some fresh water out of the pond there before they leave, refilling their equipment. Jiraiya and Naruto take long swigs of water and eat some of their rations before they head on out. As Naruto and Jiraiya continue to walk into the dark tunnel, they then, after a few hours to them and days above in the real world, they then finally see some light, some real light, and not the artificial crystals that were in the glaive. At this point, they then finally get out into that area, and as Jiraiya and Naruto walk out, they see a large tournament hall. They're inside of an arena, and above there stands millions of skeletons. It's sitting in celestial armor made out of the same material that Naruto's scythe is, from what he can see from the glimmer and the shine off of the material. As these undead creatures look down and clap as their hollow-dead eyes stare into Naruto and Jiraiya, Naruto feels on edge and he looks up to see the Emperor himself. There he stands, the main antagonist for Naruto the Skip, Daedalus. Daedalus, there he stands, the creator of the labyrinth, as he gazes down upon Naruto and Jiraiya. The madman scientist who's been down in the labyrinth, feeding off of its dark energy and for power for hundreds of years, stares down at his new welcome guests. As Naruto and Jiraiya stand in the arena and ask what this is and why is he here and who are all these people, he laughs and says that they were competitors long ago just like them. At that point, he then says, "Now, I hope that we can give this competition a good show. So, let's give them one." He then releases the gates as his skeleton guards open them, releasing monsters into the arena. At this point, Jiraiya and Naruto get into a fighting stance, and Naruto pulls his scythe out, full blaze, ready to attack. At that point, then, Daedalus then sees the celestial weapon, and he chuckles, knowing that he's trapped another demigod down here. Probably some weakling from one of the clans of either one of the different patronages. At that point, then, Naruto then slices. There they come. He and Jiraiya then get into a fighting position, and in comes the Minotaur. The Minotaur walks into the arena. Its whole body looks convulsing as it's half bull, half human. Its red eyes pierce into Naruto and Jiraiya's souls as they stare at this monster. The monster then charges, making a loud moving sound mixed with a human scream. As the monster charges towards Naruto and Jiraiya and Naruto combine their Rasengan. They put both their hands back together, forming the regular Rasengan and pushing chakra into it. Naruto and Jiraiya then say at the same time, "Rasengan!" as they thrust their hands forward into the beast who's charging at them at full power. The Rasengan slams into its horns and it begins to spin back into the wall as it makes a loud cracking sound into the stone. The labyrinth begins to immediately repair itself, and then the Minotaur stands up staring at its two competitors. Naruto and Jiraiya get more serious, and Naruto is about to slash his scythe. At that point, he slashes at the Minotaur, and the Minotaur goes down, with help from Jiraiya. Jiraiya using his flame jutsu, as well as summoning a toad for him to ride around on and slam into the Minotaur itself. Jiraiya then tells Naruto that if they need to really escape, they can use the reverse summoning jutsu, if necessary. Naruto nods, shakes his head, and tells Jiraiya that this is the perfect training he's been looking for. At that point, Daedalus then looks down at the two, and he walks back into the darkness of the tunnel that his Emperor's seat came from. Naruto and Jiraiya leap through the stands, and as they run, the entire crowd of skeletons try to stop them. Naruto then begins swinging his scythe, slicing through all of them with ease, like butter. Jiraiya continuously is using jutsu, flame jutsu, and burning them, as well as pushing them back with regular taijutsu skills. They push through the undead crowd and run into the dark corridor, running after the mad creator of the labyrinth. As Naruto and Jiraiya finally make it down the corner, they continue to run. They don't see him anywhere in sight. They then hear a sealing entrance as the entire labyrinth uses its chakra that it has and makes a seal around the entrance where Daedalus gets inside of. Naruto slashes with his scythe at the seal, and as he does so, nothing happens. The scythe makes a loud clanging, vibrating sound as it hits the seal formed with immortal chakra. Naruto gets kind of pissed off and then says that they'll have to find him another way. They continue to run down. They have to decide now, where should they go, the right or left passage. Jiraiya and Naruto both agree they should head to the right, and they start down that area. As they continue to run, they then notice that there's begins to appear pressure plates on the ground. If they step on the wrong brick, then an arrow shoots out of the wall, covered with poison or some other probably nasty type of chemical that could kill them with one hit. Naruto and Jiraiya put up their defenses, and as an arrow comes whizzing out of the air towards Jiraiya's head, he turns around, smashes the arrow out of the air as it shatters into splinters. Naruto says nice job, and then they continue to run. As they get through the shield of arrows, they then finally get into another area. As they finally open up into this other new area, they then see a sphere and some forges. This makes Naruto feel odd as he sees different shapes of metal and hunks of different contraptions pushed together. He rushes over to where he can see this and the forges and fires and flames, and he picks up one of the torches laying there and dips it in the fire, holding up the torch to the sky to see where it ends. It continues to go up, and Naruto and Jiraiya think they might have to climb up to get up to the next level. As Naruto and Jiraiya put the torch down, they then seeing some weapons and armor just laying there. Naruto tells Jiraiya to grab one of the swords and says that he might need one in case they run out of chakra down here and don't have time to rest. Jiraiya agrees with this and then takes one of his kunai out and respectfully leaves one in place for the sword, as he doesn't want to not leave pay for what's something that he's taking, even if the one's trapping them there is the owner. He decides to choose on what sword he would like, and as he bends down to pick one up, he finds a nice red one that's been hydro-dipped, if you know what I mean, and it seems to fit his grip nice with a nice leather handle. As he picks up the sword, it seems to curve in a moon-shaped scar, and he puts it on his back and wraps it there, thinking that it looks a nice addition to his already beautiful sage outfit. Jiraiya and Naruto then begin to climb using chakra on their feet, and run up the walls as they hop back and forth across to gain up a level. As they get up a level, they begin to see the sky, the real sky, and as they're about to rush out, Naruto pushes forward with his wind release, trying to pull him and Jiraiya out. At that point, a ceiling of dirt, as well as the labyrinth itself, seals them in, and they fall back into another level. At that point, Jiraiya and Naruto are pretty much exhausted, and they begin to walk down another lane. As they continue to walk down the corridor, they hear some monsters coming their way, and Naruto gets ready for his scythe. As a horde of undead monsters, as well as animals such as wolves, as well as some other nasty vampire-ish creatures, come around the corner, then Naruto slashes with his scythe, cutting through the entire horde, leaving nothing but bones and ash. Naruto and Jiraiya continue to run until finally they make it there. They make it to Daedalus's real workshop. As they enter into the area, they see Daedalus himself crying. As they walk over to see what's wrong, Daedalus turns around and he has a sad, dark look in his eyes. He looks at the two and tells Jiraiya and Naruto why they're there, and if they're there to come to laugh at him, then they should leave him alone. Naruto puts his hand on Daedalus's shoulder and he stops shivering. Naruto asks Daedalus what's wrong, and all he does is he's staring at a picture. There we see a picture of Daedalus and his son, Deidara of the Akatsuki. If you guys want to see a part 2 to this, as well as part 3, and I suppose I'm actually going to make this series longer, as I'm reading through the script, and I'm really enjoying what I'm going to be doing with these next 3 years, since there's nothing really that Naruto and Jiraiya do in the original, and I put some interesting lore building to the world stuff in here. If you guys like what I'm doing with the Labyrinth and Daedala, and also making Deidara, Daedalus's son, I think you guys think that might be pretty cool. So I hope you guys are ready to see the next episode where they have to escape the crumbling labyrinth, as well as begin more of their journey for the next few weeks until the end of their year. We'll have another 2.5 years before the end and before Shippuden starts. So I hope you guys enjoy what I'm doing here, and I hope you guys like the series. Thank you guys so much for supporting all my videos. I hope you guys go watch them. If you haven't watched the What If Naruto and Dragon Ball Shared a World, go check that out. I posted it yesterday. And always, as always, make sure to like, comment, subscribe to my videos. Join the Discord server. I'll leave the description in the link below. And I'll see you guys later. Bye.